Hi and welcome back to Mentally Yours, a podcast presented by Mehfooz by Simran, co-presented by Eduthon. Joining today is Alipt Sanam Hari, a global educator, a sports psychologist and change maker who's redefining what it means to truly learn. From tennis courts in India to building a future-forward school in Ghana, she's a TEDx speaker, a national-level athlete, and now the driving force behind the Healthy Minds International School. Please welcome ma'am.
So, how are you doing today, ma'am?
I'm very well. Thank you so much, Simran, for hosting me.
And thank you for taking out the time. I know running a school is not an easy job to do, but you're still taking time out for us, and especially when our time zones don't match only. So, I mean, I'm really grateful for you. And as I was about to say that you have a very celebrity face, I'll say that again. I know you have heard it, but I'll still say it. Maybe you should give it a try someday. What say?
I should, right? I hope I don't get some other roles.
Not
I
at
want to play
all.
the protagonist.
I didn't even know that you were mother till now, right? So very fresh face, I would say.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
So we'll quickly dig into it. I heard your TEDx and it was amazing. I mean, very unconventional how you talked about the struggles almost of an average student and how you can be how you can achieve so much more with just the right direction and guidance. So would you like to talk about, being that average kid, so-called average kid in the school, this term given by the education system, and then, breaking all the barriers and reaching here?
Yes. I was an average student, as some of our schools still label it. And I was lost in my own mediocrity because I wasn't given the tools, neither the empowerment to channelize my full potential. And hence, I was challenged in terms of navigating and finding my true voice in the space of the school. But when I was introduced to tennis, in the space of the measurement of the tennis court, which is 78 by 36 feet, I found my voice. The sport gave me wings because I could make decisions on the tennis court, and those decisions landed me into becoming amongst the top 10 players of India. So that gave me a huge amount of confidence and it gave my self worth wings. And sport is a microcosm of life itself. And that's it. From there, everything transcended into all spheres of my life. And I'm very thankful to the sport. And of course, my lecturers at Lady Shri Ram College, Delhi University, who gave me choice, voice, and ownership over my learning experiences.
And I would like to tell the audience that she has also received a gold medal for being an
Yes.
all-rounder child at the college from the President of India. So that is something like that's amazing, I would like to say. So, you talked about playing tennis. How did that get into play? Like, were you always a sporty kid? Were you always wanted to do sports? Or was it destiny?
I was a chubby child, as all Punjabi households name it. And, it is a term of endearment. But they don't realize that they are actually calling you fat,
Yeah.
which is what they really mean. That is it. My mother, through all the distress that she was given by all my aunts and uncles, she enrolled me into a tennis academy, and I actually failed the physical entrance because I was very heavy. And after a lot of
Okay.
coaxing and cajoling My mom said that please, put her in the academy. And once I was enrolled, within 2 years, I started playing the All India Tennis Association tournaments,
Wow.
which is the body that ranks all national players across the country. And based on their ranking, I was ranked among the top 10 players in the country. And they have categories: under 14, under 16, under 18. So that's how it went. And then the journey unfolded by itself. It was such an organic experience of love of sport, and all thanks to my parents, my coaches, because I owe it to them.
I think Indian mothers, have this instinct within them. I think they know that their child is going to do this and then they're going to rock it. I mean, if it wasn't for your mother, you wouldn't have, ended up into, playing tennis. So that was some amazing.
100%. She dedicated her life to my brother and I, to making sure that we get a holistic childhood, focusing on academics, on sports, and sports actually taking precedence over academics. It was met with a lot of resistance from my grandparents, but eventually my father supported me, took me through so many tournaments, and both my paternal and my maternal grandfathers traveled with me for tournaments. So I have my family to thank.
Amazing. So now that we're talking about family, your family, I suppose, was, here in Chandigarh, like, you were talking about. And how did the shift happen from Chandigarh to Africa all the way? And how do you like it? Like, is there any cultural shock that you're facing?
Ghana is a land of opportunity. It's called the land of gold. And as much as I chose Ghana, Ghana also chose me. And destiny played dove between my husband and I. We had an arranged marriage which transcended into love. And love blossomed after marriage. And he settled in Ghana for over 35 years. This is his homeland. And when I came to the country, my father-in-law, Mr. Gurdeep Harry, who doesn't like me saying that he's my father-in-law, so I'll call him my father, he was building this school, Healthy Mind International, and that's it. I mean, it gave me a passion, it gave me a calling, it gave me a purpose, and I could use all my learnings from sport into empowering every child who comes into this school. And I owe it to this country and the people of this country who gave an expatriate like me a chance to lead. And the indigenous people of this land are just so beautiful, and they are so open-minded. And my husband is the one who opened the doors to West Africa to me.
Amazing, amazing. And I think I love the name of the school. Healthy Minds International. It has this essence of I mean, I can imagine children being emotionally balanced, happy, healthy in terms of physical and mental health. So this brings me to the question that, you studied psychology, you created this amalgamation of sports and psychology for some time in your career. So, how are you bringing this wisdom and experience into building the school?
Education stands on a tripod stand. You know, all of us think that academic rigor is the most important, but a tripod stand has equal weight on three of its legs. And the three legs of education are academic, social, and emotional development. And
Absolutely.
psychology has a huge role to play in the social and emotional development of the child. Because if the child is not a happy learner, the child cannot feel empowered sitting in a classroom. The
Absolutely.
child will withdraw from answering questions. The child will have a coy and a meek gaze. The child will feel reclusive, and children speak so much more through their eyes than through words.
Yes.
So these are indicators that we need to see in every child, because there is something that is troubling them either at home or at school. And once you give them that catharsis, that room of comfort where they can express themselves, that's it. That's the starting point of transition and transformation. And that's what we give every child at Healthy Mind International School.
Amazing, very well said. I think, I could feel that, coming from a psychology background, you are, a very high advocate of mental health, emotional health. That is amazing. I wanted to ask you something that, because you have been through that challenge, you have faced that challenge almost of being an average child. How do you break this, break the stereotype almost in your school? What anecdotes are you using, or are there any policies that you have made to make sure that no child falls in the mediocrity of it?
Again, I'm going to quote my father in law. And he believes that every child is born with an inherent gift.
Absolutely.
Every child has an inherent talent, a skill that needs to be explored and then harnessed. So that's what we believe in, that there is no point of pouring into the child what they don't need. In fact, it is to bring out of the child what they already have. So the traditional or the orthodox education systems, they keep pouring into the child, and then the child is supposed to recall and reproduce in the form of examinations. But over here, we don't believe that the child can be trapped into a report card. And that should be the definition of a child. It could be through a presentation, it could be through a project, it could be through eloquently expressing your ideas, it could be through anything. It could be through sport, through music. So every child needs to be celebrated for their uniqueness. And that's what an IB system also prescribes, and it completely aligned with what the founder of our institution believes in.
Amazing. And I think, now that you have talked about creating a wholesome approach for children and focusing on their strengths instead of what they lack at, do you think that, because you are from a sports background, do you still put in some sort of sporty activities almost in classrooms, maybe like if you visit at times, or have you created a space where you train children? For tennis maybe?
Yes, I have an academy called Ashwell Sports Academy.
Oh,
We hone talents from as young as 2 year olds. We have, in fact, 18-month-olds doing swimming lessons, and they start
no
picking up the
way.
racket at 3 years of age. Yes. So we have two synthetic courts at our school. We have a FIFA size football field. We have a swimming pool. We have a state of the art gymnastics arena. My daughter is 7, and she's a level 3 American Federation gymnast. So, and being a tennis parent, my daughter loves gymnastics,
Hmm.
and so be it. And we are celebrating her, exploring her skill through being a gymnast. So, this is a bedrock of Healthy Mind International School, that along with academic rigor, we focus on exposing the child through all sports, all talents, so that they can find their true voice.
Amazing. I think that is a very healthy approach. I would say, instead of pushing children down for what they don't have, it's better that we appreciate them for what they have, right? Amazing. And you were talking about, how your daughter is into sports. Do you also appreciate, or is there a way that children at your school are being appreciated, or do you think the teachers are trained enough to handle the emotional turmoil of children, and how do they actually curate a healthier environment for the children and for themselves as well, let's say?
We focus on something called as learner profile attributes, which is before being an ace student. First of all, you need to be a caring individual. You need to focus on being an inquirer, a thinker, somebody who reflects on his or her choices, on the words that you use, on the actions that you exhibit. You need to be an open minded individual who has a global citizenship in terms of perspective, and not be close minded to your own ethnicity or your own culture or religion, to be courageous in your choices, in your decisions, in your challenges that you take, and also to be a knowledgeable individual, which means that you are open to different people's perspectives. And that's what makes you a balanced and a principled human being. So, these are the learner profile attributes that the IB education focuses on. And once every teacher and every student realizes that we always need to focus on being a lifelong learner, that's when the teacher and the student learn at the same time, because
Amazing.
we are all on a journey of learning.
Yes. Amazing. Okay. So this brings me to a question that, you have been in India for some time and now you are in Africa. What are some, classroom practices that you learned here in India, but you're still applying those in Africa?
India has a very, very impeccable, nurturant environment where the relationship with your teacher transcends beyond the classroom.
Yes.
I have a very close bond with some of my teachers who taught me in school, who taught me in university. And that's what I tell all the teachers, all the facilitators in our classroom, that every time you feel a child has done exceptionally well, pick up the phone and appreciate and celebrate the child with their parent. You don't need to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of how the relationship between the learning community, which is the parent, and how the staff is supposed to be. And every time you feel that the child is having a challenge, pick up the phone and communicate with the parent, because that's when the parent will realize that you are more than just a teacher. You're a
Yes.
facilitator, you're a mentor, and you're a strong anchor for the child. So,
Mhm.
this is my biggest learning from my experiences in India in the
Um,
classroom.
Amazing. And I think I really like how you approach this as, parents and the teacher being a team, an
Yes.
active form of communication between the two. That is so great. This made me think that is there a particular incident or lesson that you have learned in your journey? Was there a moment that that stuck by you and you were like, this is something that is going to be with me for the rest of my life, while being a principal or while you were, in the college or playing tennis, any moment that is close to your heart?
Lots of them. And if I had to pick up one, that would be when parents tell me that we trust you. That's the biggest compliment. And it is not about the words that I speak or the certifications that are there posted on the walls of the school. It's about the heart and the sense of purpose that they feel in every action and every choice that you make. And throughout my experience with parents, I only say that I'm here to give, I'm here to serve. And that's what reflects in every choice that I make for their child. And when they tell me that they trust me, it's not about them trusting a system or them trusting a school. They are trusting me. And I feel that's the biggest gift that I have received. And every gift comes with a responsibility. And that is why I feel I owe it to the parents. And I want to be remembered as a person who empowered learners. And when children think back of their experiences in school, I want them to have happy memories.
I love how you have given it such a kind perspective and how driven you are to, make it a happier space for children, for them to, um, remember that, this was the golden period of their life. I really, really appreciate this. This is a really cute, wholesome moment, that, while you were speaking, Olive, this was really cute. This brings me to a very interesting question that, I asked you that what have you learned from India that you're applying in the school there? So, if we were to call you for a session at Eduthon, what anecdote or what strategy would you share here that you have been using there?
I think it is about appreciating diversity. When we come from different nationalities, different cultures, different religions, we have a very black and white approach of what is right and wrong because it's a strong conditioning. But at Healthy Mind International School, in a classroom, we have students who come from varied cultures. There are Americans, there are Japanese, there are Lebanese, Indians, Ghanaians, Nigerians. So when they sit in one classroom and they study together, when they go into the cafe and they eat different food, but they are sitting on the same table and sharing, that's when the boundaries and the differences that they melt away. That's when you truly become a global citizen and you realize that all of us are sharing one planet.
Amazing.
And that is the biggest learning that I'm going to get from Africa into India. Because when I was in India, I was learning amongst the indigenous Indian population. And whenever I was exposed to a child of a different culture, I didn't know how to empathize or how to relate with that child.
Yes.
But when you are in a diverse background, in terms of the school having a multiculturalism, it becomes a norm.
Yes.
It becomes something that you are so attuned to that you realize that a Japanese girl or an American boy or a German individual is no different from an Indian. We are all the same, and we need to appreciate and celebrate our differences.
Right. I think, you have, reached beyond the stereotypes, the discrimination, but you connect with people at a very human level, how we say it, right? Amazing. And I think we are expecting you at Eduthon this year. Please say that you're
I
coming.
am so excited. Yes, of course, I'm excited. I'm so excited. That's it. It's marked on my calendar. The flights are
Perfect.
booked, and I'm so excited to come back to India because, after all, India is my homeland, and nothing's going to take that away from me.
Amazing. So one last question for you that, how do you think spaces or platforms like Eduthon are bridging the gap between education system like varying from different countries? How do you think it's, bridging the gap or creating almost a connection?
Yes. When people from different cultures, different nationalities, different perspectives come together, you agree to disagree. And I think that's the best space to be in.
Absolutely.
Because in the world today, the kind of international relations and the polity of the world that is going on is that everybody wants to have an upper hand
Mm.
and nobody is learning how to coexist.
Yes.
But us educators, through a platform like Eduthon, if we can get that opportunity to share our perspectives, share our ideas, and learn from each other and collaborate,
Mm.
despite our differences, this is what the world needs. And this can only happen if the educators come collectively together through such an amazing platform like yours and spread wings into the world and take our learning experiences across.
This was really informative, insightful, and I think I would like to say one thing that Healthy Minds International School is very lucky to have you. Because I always tell my children that, I'm teaching in a school and always tell them that, you will be,
Wow.
a good person at whatever, career you choose. But before that, you have to be good at a human level, be kind towards people, and this should be your driven force towards anything that you do. And I could see that in you, like, the way you said, I wanted to serve, I want them to remember, because you gave so much into something that you are doing right now. That made so much sense. So I really want to
Yeah.
appreciate you for what you are doing there, and I really like how you are still grounded, connected to your roots, and you are open to all kinds of possibilities. So this was one amazing experience, I would say, talking to you. And I'm really, really looking forward to meeting you in person. So this was amazing. Thank you so much for doing this. And see you soon at Edison 5.0.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is going to be all mine, and I'm really excited and I'm enthralled at your invitation. Thank you so much for choosing me.
Likewise, I am really excited too. So let's see you then.
Thank you. Take care and see you very soon in person.
Definitely. Bye bye. Have a nice day.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for doing this. This was really great. It was an honor to do this with you. And I got to learn a lot. I hope it was the same with you. I think we always forget how important it is to make children understand that it's very crucial to be a good person first and then excel at your career. She's making sure that the children at her school, which is Healthy Minds International School, they excel at their academics and they're also given support in whatever field they are good at. And their mental health, their emotional health, and physical health is also taken care of. So, this was really amazing for me. I hope the same with you. And I'll see you in the next episode of Mentally Yours, presented by Mahfouz by Simran, co presented by Eduthon. So, till then, take care of your mental health the way you take care of your physical health. Bye.